but the very strength that binds them can also become the blade that tears them apart. For others, it is a great pilgrimage, a vow to answer the invisible call of ancestors. For some, life is a relentless conquest, a battle for every inch of territory. Here, alliances are forged in trial by fire, and brotherhoods are tempered through hardship. These are the sagas of ride. In the heart of Africa, there is a land forged by time and conflict, a kingdom ruled by tooth and claw. Here on the sun-scorched savannas of Mala Mala, a new day reveals an ancient story written in blood and dust. This is not merely a chronicle of lions. This is the saga of an empire. The Mapogo Empire. The name Mapogo was taken from a South African security company notorious for its brutality and efficiency, a fitting omen for the reign that was to come. Nkosi, the oldest of the coalition, had a difficult start in life. Separated from his pride at just 20 months old, he was forced to wander alone. Ordinarily, a young lion like this has little chance of survival. However, fate intervened when he was accepted by the males of the West Street Pride. One quiet afternoon, Nkosi stood silently among the other males. No one suspected he was about to become part of the most formidable coalition in natural history. A subtle shift in the winds of power was at hand. Led by the seasoned Nkosi, 5 young bloodlines, each with a fire in its eyes, broke away. They were not just leaving a pride, they were forging a brotherhood. And with their departure, a tremor of change rippled across the savannah. Six young warriors began a new journey without the protection of a pride. But in their unity, they found strength. Across the vast grasslands, the 6 lions moved in silence. But in that silence lay a hunger for survival, a latent power waiting to be unleashed. For the first time, the Mapogo coalition confronted a herd of Cape buffalo. Tunzi and Shango led the charge, storming directly into the herd. A fierce battle erupted. Finally, after hours of struggle, a mature buffalo fell. They were no longer weak, solitary individuals, but an invincible alliance. But the peace was not to last. In mid-2006, the Mapogo coalition advanced into the northern Sabi Sand. This was the territory of 4 dominant male lions. The sky grew dark, heralding a brutal conflict. The confrontation was savage. A rival male roared in defiance, but in a moment he was overwhelmed. The other 3 fled, leaving the Ottawa pride of 3 lionesses and 11 cubs behind. On a misty morning, the Mapogo coalition moved quietly into the territory. There were no more roars or chases, only a terrifying silence. In a calculated act of brutality, Shango enforced the cold logic of the conqueror. For the new kings, the bloodline of the old must be extinguished. It was a horrific yet necessary foundation for their new dynasty. After their first great battle, the Mapogo coalition entered a golden age. Six warriors patrolled their new lands with none daring to challenge them. Peaceful afternoons returned, but this time they stood at the pinnacle of power. Nkosi lay under the shade of an ancient tree, observing his brothers. Rojo was quieter, while Shango and Isithunzi continued to display their aggression. The atmosphere seemed peaceful, but tension was quietly brewing. After years of dominance, the Mapogo coalition began to face internal conflicts. The simmering tension between Shango and Nkosi finally erupted into a violent clash. Their rivalry, born from countless disputes over mating rights and spoils, finally fractured the brotherhood. On a grim morning, Nkosi and Shango confronted each other. Their roars echoed through the reserve. In the end, Nkosi was victorious, severing one of Shango's claws. The battle had cracked the coalition. In 2008, the coalition officially split into two factions. Shango and Isithunzi retreated to the east. Nkosi Roho Moya and Mapogo held the western territory. Though moments of peaceful encounter still occurred, the chance of reunification seemed remote. In the east, Shango and Isithunzi quickly established their authority. These two warriors were considered the most brutal and aggressive of the coalition. They not only defended their own territory but also acted as a shield for their brothers in the west. The peaceful days of the two brothers passed under the setting sun. But a new threat was quietly approaching. In 2010, a new coalition emerged in the Sabi-San, the Majingi Lane, 5 young powerful males. One dark night, Shango After the death of Isithunzi, Shango returned alone to the Western Territory where Nkosi and the remaining brothers lived. Instead of being driven away, he was welcomed back. However, Shango's return did not bring peace. Soon after, he began to kill and eat the cubs of other coalition members. In a cold assertion of his unbroken will, he turned against his own lineage, erasing the future to reclaim his place at the apex. Meanwhile, the losses for the Mapogo continued. Moya vanished mysteriously, likely a victim of rivals or poachers. Mapogo left the reserve and was shot dead near a settlement. The Mapogo coalition was now reduced to 3 Nkosi, Roho, and Shango. The wounds of the past ran deep. They were still powerful, but time and new enemies were against them. In 2012, a new enemy appeared. The Salati coalition, 4 young, strong, and ambitious males. They pushed into the last Mapogo territory from the south. On an afternoon in March 2012, a fateful battle occurred. Shango, patrolling alone, suddenly faced all 4 Salati lions. Without Nkosi and Rojo by his side, Shango was in a desperate situation. A furious roar echoed across the plains. His body had fallen, but the legend of his warrior spirit would echo across these plains long after the sun had set on his reign. The death of Shango marked the end of a brutal dynasty. Nkosi and Rojo, the last warriors of the Mapogo, were forced to abandon their territory. In the days that followed, the 2 lions wandered aimlessly through new lands. Their paw prints marked the sunburnt grass, a reminder of a glorious past. They were old, and the constant wars had drained their strength. Yet Nkosi remained resilient. It was witnessed that Nkosi and Rojo clashed with the Kruger coalition, and Nkosi defeated a younger lion. In October 2012, Nkosi and Rojo were seen for the last time near Kruger National Park. The last 2 survivors, old but unbowed, hunting together. The image of them beside a downed buffalo was a final reminder of their glory days. In January 2013, Nkosi, the first leader, was last seen alone in Malamala, where his journey had begun. The journey of the Mapogo is not just a story of dominance, but a symbol of strength, unity, and the harsh laws of nature. In their 6 years of rule, they controlled 8 prides and eliminated over 100 rivals. But at the same time, the Mapogo story is a testament to the cruelty of the natural world. Internal conflict, the rise of new enemies, and the relentless cycle of survival pushed this coalition to the brink of annihilation. Today, though, the Mapogo coalition is no more. Their legacy endures. Younger males, like those of the Majingalane and Selati coalitions, continue to rule the lands the Mapogo once dominated, part of nature's unforgiving law. The story of the Mapogo is in the end the story of power itself, a force that builds and binds only to corrupt and destroy. Their roars have fallen silent, their kingdom lost to new dynasties in the endless cycle of life and death. But the legend remains carried on the wind, a brutal, timeless whisper, of what it takes to rule this land, and the inevitable price every king must pay. When the planet whispers its ancient secrets, it is not always in thunder or storm. Sometimes it is the beat of a wing, the silent fall of a hoof, the quiet of an expectant sky. All across the world, creatures of all shapes and sizes are answering these ancestral calls. They are following something deeper, more primal, an instinct that commands them to move. From blistering savannas to the frozen north, from remote islands to dense forests, they travel for food, for shelter, and for a safe place to continue life. This journey is a delicate cycle shaped by the earth, the climate, and the choices of humankind. These are the tales of extraordinary journeys, not of mythical heroes, but of animals facing countless obstacles simply to exist. Each journey reminds us that nature is in constant motion, and we are all part of that dance. It is lighter than a slip of paper, a fragile jewel of life carried on wings like stained glass. And yet, this is the beginning of one of the most heroic journeys on our planet. They are born in southern Canada and the northern United States. Heeding a call engraved in their very being, they fly south. The destination, the high-altitude forests of Mexico, where the fir trees offer the perfect climate for their winter rest. What is astonishing is that no single butterfly completes the round trip. It takes 4 generations to finish the cycle. Only the 4th, the migratory generation, lives up to 8 times longer, capable of flying thousands of miles without ever having traveled the route before. Along the way, they face storms, sudden changes in temperature, and vast agricultural landscapes that make finding food increasingly difficult. The caterpillar's primary food, the milkweed plant, is vanishing rapidly due to pesticides and crop expansion. Climate change, too, is disrupting nature's signals. Some monarch butterfly populations have declined by as much as 81%. But when all goes well, the sight is nothing short of spectacular. In the mountains of Michoacán, millions of butterflies cloak the branches like living flowers. They wait in a state of suspended animation for the arrival of spring. Then they awaken, they mate, and the journey home begins once more. The monarch's journey is a reminder that behind the greatest of feats, there are sometimes the lightest of touches. As the heat of East Africa parches the plains, one particular place explodes into a vibrant pink. Lake Natron, on the border of Tanzania and Kenya, is one of the harshest environments on the planet. Its water is highly alkaline, with temperatures that can reach 140 degrees Fahrenheit and a pH that exceeds 10. It is a liquid that feels like bleach to the touch, hot enough to scald a caustic liquid desert that can turn flesh to stone. A true liquid desert. For the flamingo, this deadly landscape holds a promise. It is as if they have made a pact with the caustic waters, finding in the very heart of danger the ultimate sanctuary. This hostile environment keeps predators at bay, making it paradoxically one of the safest places for these birds to breed. A land that seems dead becomes a nursery teeming with life. The red of the water, caused by the proliferation of cyanobacteria and microalgae, is the very fuel of life. From these waters, the flamingos absorb not just their nourishment, but their very essence. They are quite literally colored by the landscape they inhabit. The more they eat, the more brilliant their pink plumage becomes. The newly hatched chicks, only a few days old, must gather in vast groups called creches and walk up to 30 miles to find fresh water. This first journey is their first great test. To cross the cracked, salty earth dotted with scalding pools is a rite of passage. Beauty persists in a desolate landscape. It is perhaps one of the great lessons of the natural world that life so often flourishes in the most unexpected of places. In the high Arctic, where ice meets sea, there is a creature that bears the stamp of survival in an extreme world, the walrus. Weighing more than a ton, with tusks up to 3 feet long and a wrinkled hide protected by a thick layer of blubber, they are built for the cold and the unforgiving Arctic seas. For centuries, walruses have depended on floating sea ice to rest, give birth, and protect themselves from predators. But now those natural platforms are vanishing. The warming of the Arctic seas has accelerated the ice melt, depriving the walrus of the foundation of its daily life. As the ice disappears, tens of thousands of walruses are forced to crowd together on stony beaches. The shore was never meant to hold so many bodies at once. Hemmed in and startled by the slightest threat, they panic. And when that happens, tragedy strikes. The consequence is terrible and inevitable, a cascade of bodies. They fall not with grace, but with the crushing weight of a predictable tragedy. This is not a migration in the classic sense, but a retreat. It is a desperate search for any refuge, for a safe harbor that no longer exists. This change also affects their search for food. They must swim farther, expending more energy at a time when they most need to conserve it. The walrus, majestic and silent, has become a powerful symbol of the changes unfolding in the Arctic. Their struggle is not just for space, but for existence itself. On the arid plains of southern Africa, a herd of elephants is on the move. They are guided not just by instinct, but by a collective memory passed down through generations. They are searching for water, a vital resource that has become increasingly scarce and unpredictable. At the center of this journey is the matriarch, usually the oldest and most experienced female. Her guidance comes not only from instinct, but from memory. A living library of knowledge is held in the mind of a single individual, the matriarch. Her memory is the herd's most precious map, etched not in ink, but by the experience of generations on this very land. Drought is not new to the Savannah. What has changed is its duration and intensity. The rainy seasons arrive later, and water sources disappear sooner than expected. The herd must travel farther for longer under constant pressure. Calves, pregnant females, and the elderly face an exhausting trek, but they do not stop. When they find a small pool or a mud wallow, the herd is reborn. They immerse themselves, bathing and spraying mud over their bodies, in a ritual of relief and joy. But this search also leads them into danger. Natural water sources attract other groups and predators. And increasingly, elephants come into conflict with human communities. And still the journey continues. Through the heat and the dust they press on, guided by the wisdom of their matriarch. In a world where everything is accelerating, the elephant reminds us that persistence is more powerful than speed. They do not give up because life is a constant movement. On the vast plains of the Serengeti, an immense living mass is in motion. Before it is a sight, it is a sound. A deep and persistent thunder that comes not from the sky but from the earth itself. This is the Great Migration, a river of life with more than 1.5 million souls flooding across the plains. It is the largest overland migration on the planet, a great annual circular journey driven by a collective imperative survival. There is no general, no king, no single mind that holds the map. This great army moves as one compelled not by a leader. But by a rhythm felt in the blood, by a promise whispered on the wind. What drives them is a shared rhythm, a response to the scent of rain on the wind. Zebra and wildebeest form a partnership for survival. The zebras have excellent eyesight and memory for the routes, while the wildebeest in their vast numbers are sensitive to smell and sound. The journey is over 600 miles, crossing rivers, woodlands, and scorching plains. Along the way, predators such as lions, hyenas, and crocodiles lie in wait. The greatest test is the crossing of the Mara River. The banks are steep, the riverbed treacherous, and the murky water conceals giant crocodiles. The crossing begins with a single leap, and then they all follow. Some are swept away, but many reach the other side, exhausted but alive. Thousands of young are born on the move at almost the same time. Most learn to walk in minutes and run with their mothers soon after. This cycle of movement sustains the entire savanna. It distributes nutrients, renews the grasslands, and feeds hundreds of other species. It is a grand dance connecting generations and landscapes. In the far north of the planet, the reindeer or caribou undertakes one of the most silent and arduous migrations. Some herds travel over 3,000 miles a year, crossing frozen valleys and climbing steep, treacherous slopes. What drives them is the need to find lichen, a plant that grows under the snow and is their main source of food in the harsh winter. This cycle, once fairly predictable, has now changed. Rising temperatures in the Arctic are altering the patterns of freezing and thawing. Unstable ice makes crossing rivers and lakes perilous. Many caribou drown or get lost, exhausted from having to travel farther for food. During the migration, the pregnant females lead part of the herd. They need to reach the calving grounds in time where they can give birth in relative safety. The young are born almost simultaneously over a short period, increasing their chances of survival, as predators cannot possibly catch them all. But the risk is ever present. White wolves patiently follow the herds, waiting for fatigue, a moment of distraction, or a gap between a mother and her calf. The very presence of the caribou shapes the entire environment around them. Despite the hardships, they return year after year as if the bitter cold were not an obstacle but simply part of the path. In the vastness of the sky, a tiny bird performs a feat that is almost unimaginable. Weighing less than 4 ounces, the Arctic tern embarks each year on a journey that shatters every record on Earth. Over 43,000 miles from the Arctic to the Antarctic and back again. No other animal is known to travel so far. It is born in the coldest regions of the north. When the short summer ends, it sets off for the opposite pole of the planet, where the southern hemisphere's summer is just beginning. The journey is not a straight line. The tern flies in great sweeping arcs, taking advantage of air currents and favorable winds over the ocean. It rarely lands. It feeds on the wing-hunting small fish and crustaceans from the water's surface in swift, precise dives. Most of its life is lived in the air. What is most impressive is that this journey happens twice a year. This is a creature that has freed itself from the constraints of the seasons. It doesn't merely endure summer. It pursues it, living a life of almost perpetual daylight. In this way, it experiences more hours of sunlight than any other living thing. And yet the toll is real. Many do not complete the cycle. Those that survive, however, return to the exact place where they were born to find their lifelong partners. They form enduring pair bonds. This bird does not just migrate. It performs a regular circumnavigation of the planet, an eternal cycle between two opposite poles. The Arctic tern reminds us that distance is not always an obstacle, and that sometimes to live fully is to always be in motion, always heading towards the light. Here, time does not flow gently. It beats to the rhythm of the pounce, the hunt, the watchful eye. This is no place for the faint of heart, a world where every moment hangs in the balance between survival and demise. Across the vast golden grasslands of the African continent, a new day begins with a palpable energy. Light pierces the horizon, an invitation to a ceaseless journey of survival. With the rising sun, the air itself begins to change. It is no longer a gentle breeze, but a furnace blast carrying with it a primal ultimatum: move, hunt, survive, or be forgotten. In this wild and immense territory, survival is not a right. It is a daily conquest. Every sound, every footstep, every glance has a purpose. Let us immerse ourselves in the world of African wildlife to witness its mesmerizing strategies, rivalries, and adaptations. All unfolding beneath the untamed skies of Africa. As dawn first touches the savanna floor, a regal presence emerges: the lion. Its authority does not depend on speed. Its movement alone, steady, silent, with an intense gaze, is enough for all surrounding creatures to feel its power. It is no accident that it is known as the king of the savannah. Living in prides of up to 15 individuals, lions possess a social structure unique among the great cats. This is one of the secrets to their dominance. For it is the lionesses that form the pride's enduring soul, a sisterhood of mothers, daughters, and aunts bound by blood and the shared duty of survival. Theirs is a legacy written not in stone, but in the lifeblood of the savannah itself. The males, whose positions are more transient, hold power only for a time until they are challenged and replaced. The hunts are perfectly coordinated campaigns. A lone lioness has little chance, but as a group, they encircle, ambush, and... A male lion can weigh over 550 pounds and measure more than 6 feet in length, with a dense mane that serves both as protection in battle and as a sign of maturity and strength. Yet behind this image of dominance lies a life of constant challenge. A lion may spend up to 20 hours a day at rest, conserving its energy. night, its roar can be heard up to 5 miles away. A formidable declaration of territory sent to any would-be challengers. This land is taken. Yet even with all the risks, the lion remains a symbol of strength, courage, and strategy. It reigns not just through ferocity, but through social intelligence and the unity of its pride. The lion's roar asserted its authority over the land, a declaration that most were compelled to listen to. But as night fell, another sound rose in response, not a royal roar, but a sinister laugh. A sound that signaled that the laws of the day were about to be broken. Its piercing laughter shatters the twilight calm, a warning that the night is about to come alive. At first glance, hyenas may seem disorganized, but behind that facade lies a remarkably complex social system. The spotted hyena lives in large clans that can number more than 80 individuals. And contrary to most mammals, it is the females who rule here. They are larger, more powerful, and lead the clan with an iron grip. Despite their reputation as scavengers, they are in fact highly proficient hunters. It is estimated that over half the prey a clan consumes is a result of their own hunts. When hunting, they coordinate, closing in on their prey with astonishing speed and endurance. Their jaws possess an unparalleled bite force strong enough to crush the hardest of bones. Few animals can escape a coordinated pursuit by hungry hyenas. They leave nothing to waste from skin to bone. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the hyena is its adaptability. They thrive in almost any environment, from arid plains to open woodlands. On the African savanna, success does not always belong to the swiftest or the strongest. Sometimes it belongs to those who wait, adapt, and act as one. As night falls, another kind of predator awakens. Silent, solitary, and all but invisible, the leopard glides through the darkness like a living phantom. In this realm of dim light, it reveals itself. A patient, precise hunter and the master of a territory it traverses without a trace. The leopard is the most elusive of Africa's great cats. Its coat, adorned with unique rosettes, renders it nearly impossible to detect. Weighing up to 200 pounds and measuring around 6 feet in length, the leopard combines strength and agility in a singular fashion. Capable of hoisting prey twice its own weight high into the branches of a tree, the leopard does not share what it has earned. Unlike the lion, the leopard prefers solitude. Each individual maintains and patrols its own territory, marked with scent and claw marks on tree trunks. Its hunting technique is one of stealthy approach. It moves low to the ground using vegetation as cover until it is mere feet from its prey. Then it launches with a powerful burst, finishing the hunt with a precise bite to the throat or skull. The hunt is brief, direct, and silent. Its diet is incredibly varied, from antelopes to birds, reptiles, and even fish if the opportunity arises. This flexibility makes it one of the most successful predators. In the invisible hierarchy of the savannah, the leopard is the master of secrets. It endures where few others can. The morning heat still radiates from the earth. A slender silhouette appears on the horizon. A light frame, long lean muscles, and a posture of constant alertness. It is the cheetah, the swiftest of the grassland hunters. But its speed is more than just an impressive number. It is a perfect adaptation. And then it explodes, a blur of gold and black unleashed across the plains. In moments, the world is reduced to a streak of color as the cheetah consumes the very ground beneath its feet, bending the laws of motion to its will. Its body is a specialized hunting machine, a flexible spine, long legs and semi-retractable claws that act as spikes on a high-speed track. But this speed comes at a price. The cheetah is not a predator of endurance. A chase longer than 1,300 feet can leave it utterly exhausted. Therefore, every hunt requires calculation, patience, and the seizing of the right moment. Unlike lions or hyenas, the cheetah does not fight for its kill. Its solitary nature compels it to hunt and eat quickly before larger rivals arrive to steal its prize. A female cheetah raises her cubs alone, often in remote and carefully camouflaged locations. She moves her den every few days to avoid being tracked. The cheetah's life is one of risk and velocity. Every attempt to hunt expends energy that may not be recovered. But still it runs, and when it runs, it is as if nature itself pauses to watch. The ground trembles faintly before any movement is seen. A deep, distant sound announces the approach of a majestic presence. Gradually, the colossal figures of an African elephant herd emerge, parading slowly across the savannah. They are the true giants of this continent. Weighing up to 13,000 pounds and standing over 10 feet tall, the African elephant is the largest land mammal on the planet. They live in groups led by the oldest female, the matriarch. Her experience dictates the herd's direction, guiding them in their search for water and food. The trunk, perhaps their most remarkable feature, is a multifunctional tool. With over 40,000 muscles, it is used to eat, drink, communicate, and even caress other members of the herd. But beyond their physical power, it is their intelligence that is most astonishing. But their true power lies not in their size, but in their minds. For an elephant does not simply see the world, it remembers it. They hold the memory of ancient pathways, of long-lost waterholes, and of family. They feel loss, they mourn their dead, revealing a depth of consciousness that echoes our own. This sensitivity allows them to survive prolonged droughts and find hidden water sources, even in seemingly barren lands. As they pass, they transform the environment, felling trees, creating clearings, and digging for water. These actions benefit countless other species. In the vastness of the savannah, the elephant is not just an inhabitant, it is a guardian. Among the murky riverbanks of Africa, where the water appears calm and harmless, one of the planet's most ancient predators lies in wait. The Nile crocodile, its eyes half closed just above the surface, watches in absolute silence. Its weapons are time and patience. And when it strikes, it does so without warning. Reaching lengths of up to 20 feet and weighing over 2,000 pounds, the African crocodile is an unstoppable force in aquatic ecosystems. Its thick hide protects its body like living armor. Its eyes and nostrils, positioned on top of its head, allow it to observe without being detected. Its bite is one of the most powerful in the animal kingdom. When its jaws snap shut, the force is so great that bones break instantly. But the attack does not end there. The crocodile spins its body violently underwater in a maneuver known as the death roll, disorienting its prey. Their menu is diverse, from zebras and wildebeest to even young hippos. During the seasonal river crossings, when great herds seek new pastures, crocodiles position themselves with surgical precision. They know that chaos and panic will create the perfect conditions for their hunt. The presence of the crocodile is fundamental to the health of the rivers. They control populations, clean up carcasses, and influence the behavior of terrestrial species. Under the unforgiving heat of the African afternoon, a cloud of dust slowly rises as a formidable shape appears on the horizon. The rhinoceros, with its thick skin and characteristic horn, moves forward with an unstated majesty. The African rhinoceros can weigh up to 3,300 pounds and be over 10 feet long. Its appearance is that of a prehistoric relic. Despite its brutish image, there is a surprising sensitivity to its nature. Its eyesight is limited, but its senses of smell and hearing compensate with remarkable precision. On the savannah, the rhinoceros plays a vital role, feeding primarily on grasses and shrubs. It helps control vegetation, allowing new plant species to grow. It is a true gardener of the savannah. Despite its gentle diet, it is a territorial and highly reactive animal. Confrontations, especially in competition for females, can be incredibly fierce. Few predators dare to confront an adult rhinoceros. The young, however, if isolated, can become targets for lions or hyenas. In the vastness of the African savannah, where the rhythm of life oscillates between bursts of speed and moments of tense silence, the rhinoceros walks with a venerable serenity. On the African savannah, every dawn and every dusk closes another chapter. Stories of power, strategy, survival, and adaptation. The giants that shape the landscape, the predators that move like ghosts, all play an essential role in this wild symphony. The balance between life and death, action and silence, brutality and beauty, reveals the true essence of nature in its purest state. Observing these creatures, we understand that greatness lies not only in size or strength, but in how each being finds its own way in a world full of challenges. In this realm, the ruler is not the tiger, the lion, or the crocodile. It is a silent, almost invisible creature, yet one that possesses a lethal power. The anaconda, the giant constrictor known as the Phantom of the Swamp. Among them, one female is legendary, a name the local people dare only whisper in awe: Velkara. The dry season arrives slowly, but its grip is relentless. Water recedes from the swamps, leaving behind mudflats and the stench of decaying fish. But for Velkara, this is not merely a time of scarcity. It is the dawn of a sacred period. The mating season has begun. Ancestral instinct awakens, compelling her to leave her familiar territory to begin a perilous journey through treacherous lands, seeking the gathering place of the males. Velkara moves in silence, a master of concealment among the dense thickets, evading the watchful eyes of hunting jaguars. But her greatest enemy now is her own kind. Other females are also in season, and aggressive males are ready to engage in ferocious battles for the right to mate. One overcast morning, Velkara reaches a large swamp where more than a dozen males have already scented her arrival. A great writhing sphere of serpents begins to form. Their bodies twist together, a terrifying, glistening mass, moving in slow, primal unison. For hours, Velkara lies at the center of this moist, violent embrace, selecting her mate in a trance of pure instinct. For Velkara, this is not just a biological moment, but the start of a new phase of her life to carry, deliver, and protect her lineage. After the struggle in the mire, Velkara has not only conquered the strongest mate, but now carries new life within her. For anacondas, there is no nest, no care from a partner, only the endurance of the mother. In the weeks that follow, Velkara's body begins to transform. She grows thicker, slower, but also far more dangerous. She retreats to a deep, secluded swamp where the light cannot penetrate. Here she rests, gathering her strength and avoiding all conflict. She moves only when she must hunt, each movement measured so as not to endanger the dozens of embryos growing within her. Down below in the dark, silent waters, one life cycle pauses in heavy stillness. But high above, in the sun-drenched canopy, the story of the forest continues, written in sound and motion. Among the giant trees, where sunlight rarely breaks through, lies the kingdom of the forest's most playful inhabitants, howler monkeys and saki monkeys. A troop leader, Toko, a howler monkey with a jet-black coat and an unusually large throat, takes a deep breath. A moment later, a thunderous roar echoes through the forest for miles, a declaration of his sovereignty. Females and their young play in the branches, leaping with the grace of skilled acrobats. They are mischievous, yet ever vigilant, for danger can come from any direction. In the lower forest, a 200-pound tapir moves quietly through the damp mud. With its long, flexible snout, it sniffs the ground, searching for leaves and tender shoots. It is a placid herbivore, but it lives in constant fear of the jaguar's claws. At the slightest unusual sound, it will bolt like a bullet, plunging into the river to escape. On the damp forest floor, an army ant leads an invisible legion. They need no nest, only a signal. Thousands advance as one, attacking any insect, reptile, or even fledgling bird, unable to escape their path. Above, colorful birds like jacamars and tanagers flit between the treetops, competing for seeds, insects, and the rare shafts of sunlight. And then, on a rotting log, a smaller creature appears, carrying death in a single touch, a poisoned dart frog. With its brilliant blue skin and fiery black spots, it is a living warning sign of the Amazon, small, beautiful, and deadly. The toxin on its skin is potent enough to kill dozens of adult humans, and has been used for centuries by indigenous peoples to tip their hunting arrows. Time passes in silence. The Amazon changes season once more. The first rains fall, creating small streams that weave through the ancient tree roots. In a hidden swamp, Velcora no longer hunts. Her colossal body is now heavier than ever. The first contractions begin a distant drumbeat, heralding a moment that cannot be delayed. The time of birth has come. No nest, no mate, no help. In the darkness of the forest, Velcora begins to give birth, a process that is instinctive and violent. Her body writhes. One by one, the young emerge from their mother, slick and fragile like ribbons of living satin. Anacondas give birth to live young. They do not lay eggs. The first newborns quickly slither away. Instinct drives them to hide amongst the moss, away from the eyes of any predator. There is no affection, no care. In the world of serpents, the young are born warriors. They already have teeth, they can swim, and they are ready to kill small prey if needed. Valkara lies motionless in the mud, breathing heavily. The rain washes away the blood and fluid, a cleansing ritual after fulfilling life's most sacred mission. Nearly 30 young have been born, but the Amazon rainforest never promises survival for all. The weak will be consumed by their own siblings. The slow will become prey for birds, otters, or even piranhas. Valkara knows this. She does not look back at them. For her, the task is complete. One cycle of life ends only to begin a new chain of survival. Brutal, but inevitable. As the Amazon forest quiets after a great rain, a herd of gentle creatures begins to move towards the riverbank. It is a group of capybaras, the world's largest rodent. Leading them is a large male weighing some 130 pounds, his grayish-brown coat perpetually damp. The herd numbers more than a dozen, including nursing, females and young, just a few weeks old, who stay close to their mothers. Capybaras are semi-aquatic mammals, their webbed feet making them expert swimmers. They feed on grasses, roots and fallen fruit, sometimes consuming over 7 pounds of vegetation a day. Though gentle, they live in highly organized groups, communicating through a series of calls, growls and soft whistles. But today the wind is still, and this is the most dangerous time. In a shallow stretch of the river, a long, dark shadow lies hidden beneath a blanket of algae. It is Valkara. After weeks of rest, she is now hungry and needs energy to recover. Her cold eyes watch the herd of capybaras as they slowly approach the water's edge, unaware that death lies just beneath their feet. This is more than a meal. It is proof that in the Amazon rainforest, no one is truly safe when the green phantom glides by. As darkness falls on the riverbank high above the Amazon forest awakens in a world of color and song. And nothing represents this vibrancy better than the macaw, a bird that wears all the colors of the rainforest. A pair of macaws soars between the low clouds. Their plumage looks as if it were painted by hand, fiery red as brilliant as the river is blue and a yellow as golden as the midday sun. With a wingspan of nearly 3 feet and a strong curved beak, they fly in pairs emitting shrill calls that are both a means of contact and a declaration of territory. Macaws mate for life. They not only fly together, but also forage for nuts and fruits together and defend their nest from predators. As sunset approaches, a remarkable spectacle begins on the clay cliffs along the river. From all corners of the forest, hundreds of colorful parrots gather, forming a whirlwind of color. This is not a time for courting or nesting. This is an ancient ritual, peculiar but vital to their lives, eating clay. Macaws and several other parrot species congregate on these clay licks, using their powerful beaks to break off and swallow pieces of the earth. What appears to be a peculiar ritual is in truth an act of ancient wisdom. The forest provides a bounty of fruits and seeds, but many come with a hidden defense poison. Here, at these clay banks, the parrots find their antidote, a natural pharmacy that allows them to feast upon a forbidden menu. The sight of hundreds of colorful birds all pecking at the earth together creates a living symphony. After they have had their fill, the parrots take flight, returning to the treetops, leaving behind the disturbed earth evidence of a strange but brilliant evolutionary behavior. The evening shadows lengthen. The sound of wing beats fades like a song ending another day in the lush forest. As the sun climbs higher on a sandbank jutting into the river, dark grey forms lie basking in the sun. It is a congregation of caimans, the most dangerous predators of South America's fresh waters. They lie motionless, resembling old weathered logs. But beneath that rough skin lie powerful muscles and lightning-fast reflexes. Black caimans are cold-blooded, and sunbathing not only warms their bodies, but is also a strategy for resting and concealing their intent. Here lies a living relic from a lost age. A mature male can stretch over 16 feet, a formidable weight of armor and muscle forged for ambush. In his world, deer, wild boar, even the mighty jaguar are all merely opportunities waiting to be seized. The young gather at the water's edge under the close watch of their mother, one of the few reptiles that exhibits parental care. Any small sound from her offspring puts the mother on high alert, ready to plunge into the water in an instant. Caimans do not often hunt during the day, but if an opportunity presents itself, they will not miss it. A young monkey slips while coming down for a drink. A bird takes a careless step. These are mistakes paid for with life. But beneath the still water, Velcora is waiting. She does not usually hunt by day, but the hunger after giving birth and the instinct of a predator have made her take the risk. In the dark mud, Velkara lies motionless, her cold eyes stalking, calculating every move of the approaching caiman, who is unaware that today the hunter will become the hunted. As the caiman reaches the water's edge, the attack happens in a fraction of a second. Silent, precise, brutal. Slowly, agonizingly, the struggles of the caiman cease. And then an even more unsettling spectacle begins. For the phantom of the swamp, the victory is only sealed when she consumes her rival whole. Inch by inch, the scaly, armored body disappears into a jaw that opens like a gateway to the underworld. As the serpent silently sinks to the bottom of the lagoon with her swollen belly, the water's surface becomes calm once more. The African sun beats down on the Serengeti, turning the vast grasslands into a sea of parched gold. The wind carries waves of red dust, and with it the searing heat of the dry season. In the distance, the horizon begins to move. At first, just a few small dots, then they spread like a flood. A wall of black and white is approaching, hundreds of thousands of zebras on the march, part of the greatest migration on Earth. The ground trembles beneath their urgent hooves. The sound is a thunderous rhythmic drumming, an endless symphony of the wild. Each year, more than 300,000 zebras, along with 1.5 million wildebeest and hundreds of thousands of gazelles, undertake one of the most grueling migrations on the planet. They move not because they want to, but because they must. The rains have ceased in the Serengeti, leaving behind arid lands, dried up waterholes, and withered grass. If they do not leave, they will die of hunger, thirst, or fall to predators. But what lies ahead is not just green pasture. On their journey of over 500 miles, they will face Africa's most brutal challenges. Leading this colossal army are the strongest zebras. Their black and white striped bodies shimmer in the sun, creating a hypnotic mirage on the vast plains. But even in this crowd, they cannot let their guard down. Their ears are always pricked, their eyes constantly scanning the land ahead. And hidden in the tall grass, the sharp eyes of a lioness watch and wait for a moment of distraction. High above, flocks of vultures circle, their dark wings spread wide, observing every step of the migrants, waiting for the weak to fall. After a journey of hundreds of miles, the zebra herd finally reaches the banks of the Mara River, a brutal natural boundary between life and death. Before them is a dark, fast-flowing current concealing deadly threats. Behind them, the dry grass is rapidly disappearing. They know that if they do not cross, hunger and thirst will kill them before the predators can. The leaders halt their ears, prick their eyes, nervously scanning the water's edge. There is no sign of crocodiles, but they are not easily fooled. Instinct tells them that the most patient hunters are lurking beneath the silent water. But the herd behind them grows ever larger. The pressure of hundreds of thousands of individuals weighs heavily on the leaders. They cannot hesitate forever. There is no other choice. A brave-led zebra plunges into the water, and like a chain reaction, the entire herd suddenly follows. The surface of the water erupts, the sound of hooves striking the river, and the frantic whinnying echoes through the Mara Valley. The zebras swim powerfully, their legs kicking constantly, heads held high above the water to maintain balance. But this is not just a swim, this is a battle for life. From the riverbed, the predators they feared have been waiting. Nile crocodiles, Africa's most merciless killers, have been lying motionless like floating logs. But amid the chaos, the survivors push forward. The first ones touch hoof to the sandy bank, their legs trembling, but they keep running. They do not stop to rest. They do not look back. Then, one by one, others escape the deadly current, covered in mud, gasping for breath, but with their eyes still full of the will to survive. By the time the last zebras reach the other side, the river behind them has returned to its usual deceptive calm. But the zebra herd does not stop. The journey is not over. Ahead of them lie the green pastures of the Serengeti, where life continues. And in just a few months, when the water dries up and the grass dies, they will have to return south. The Great Migration will continue, as it has for millions of years, an endless cycle of survival. The Mara River gradually returns to its quiet state after the chaos. But for the Nile crocodiles, the feast is over. These ancient predators have awaited this moment for weeks, and now they are reaping their rewards. But wild nature never wastes a meal. The African sun hangs in the sky, scorching the Serengeti plains with a brutal heat. The dry season has enveloped the land, turning the green pastures into a sea of golden dust. The rivers are narrowing, leaving behind muddy pools where thousands of thirsty creatures gather. And there the battle for survival plays out once again. In the distance, a cloud of dust rises on the horizon. The sound of hooves is loud and unceasing. The wildebeest herds continue their eternal journey, crossing the parched lands in search of the few remaining pastures. Hundreds of thousands move like an endless river, their vacant eyes reflecting the exhaustion of their journey. A young calf follows its mother each step, a struggle against thirst. It does not know that in this land, weakness means being left behind. And it does not know that in the distance in the golden grass, a pack of African wild dogs has already taken position. Unlike lions who rule with brute force, African wild dogs are masters of coordination. Their packs can number up to 20 individuals, a machine that operates with perfect tactics. No one acts alone. They do not need to roar to intimidate their prey. They only need patience and speed. A soft call sounds, and the entire pack begins to move. They do not charge in immediately. They accelerate slowly, forming an encircling arc around their prey, which remains completely unaware. A tremor of panic runs through the entire herd, and they all bolt as one. But for the wild dogs, this is exactly what they need. The faster ones move in, cutting the calf off from the herd. All hope of survival is lost. The strong survive, the weak are culled, and the predators continue to maintain nature's balance. As the sun sets, the wild dogs quickly consume their share. They do not linger. The shadows of larger predators are approaching. Hyenas, vultures, and even lions have scented what remains. But the wild dogs do not care. They are full. Tonight they will rest, and tomorrow, when the sun rises, they will continue their hunt. From high above, a dark shadow glides past. An African fish eagle dives, its sharp eyes scanning the water's surface. It is not interested in the adult birds, but targets the newly hatched flamingo chicks. With a powerful flap of its wings, it descends like an arrow, seizing its target with its steel-like talons. In an instant, it is gone, carrying its prize away. Dawn illuminates the wild riverbanks of Tanzania beneath the cliffs of the Rufiji River. A magical scene unfolds. Hundreds of southern carmine bee-eaters emerge from small burrows dug into the riverbank, their wings shimmering in the sunlight. They fly high, circling and tumbling in the morning breeze. With their small bodies, only 8 to 11 inches long southern carmine, bee-eaters are masters of the art of aerial insect hunting. They circle over the water's surface. Their sharp eyes miss no small movement. A bee flies past, and in a fraction of a second, a carmine bird dives its curved beak, snatching the prey with a precise bite. But it does not swallow it immediately. It strikes the bee against a branch, removing the stinger before enjoying its hearty breakfast. The breeding season is also when these birds are busiest. Pairs will work together to dig deep into the soft earth, creating small tunnels about 3 to 6 feet long, where their eggs will be laid and incubated in safety. The male and female take turns incubating the eggs and protecting the nest from ever-present predators. Although they are talented hunters, southern carmine bee-eaters are not the masters of the sky. In this unforgiving dance, the predator is the conductor, setting the very pulse of the plains. Here on the vast sun-scorched plains of Africa, an ancient drama unfolds, a delicate balance of life and death woven into the very fabric of the continent. At the pinnacle of this intricate chain of life reigns the lion, an apex predator. They are the key to regulating the numbers and the health of the great herbivore herds. He is a titan of the Savannah, up to 550 pounds of muscle and might, a living embodiment of power, stretching nearly 11 feet from nose to tail. His magnificent mane is a symbol of power, yet a disadvantage when hunting. And so the primary burden of the hunt falls to the lionesses, the true providers for the pride. For a fleeting moment, she is a blur of muscle and intent, capable of unleashing a staggering 35-mile-per-hour charge. They often hunt as a team and share the rewards. Lions are the only great cats to live in such complex social groups, which means there are always many mouths to feed. A grown lioness requires about 12 pounds of meat each day, while a large male can devour as much as 100 pounds in a single sitting. Prides of this size must hunt almost daily to sustain themselves, a relentless task for the females. Because they can only maintain their top speed for a brief 300 feet, the element of surprise is the key to a successful hunt. And even when within reach, the struggle is far from over. It takes all of a lioness's strength to bring down a male zebra, which can be twice her weight. For it is here in the crucible of the hunt that the strength of one becomes the power of many, turning a near impossible challenge into a matter of survival. Every hunt also serves as an invaluable lesson for the growing cubs, helping them to hone the essential skills for their future. Meanwhile, in a safe and hidden den, new life is enjoying a peaceful beginning. At only 6 weeks old, their world is one of warmth and shadow. Their only nourishment, their only connection to the vast world outside flows from their mother. The lioness will keep her litter concealed and protected until they are strong enough to be introduced to the rest of the pride. They will remain with their mother for nearly 2 years, learning everything they need to survive. The new day begins, and at the heart of the savannah, the silence is broken by a confident tread. The new day begins, and with it a presence emerges, not with the haste of the hunted, nor the stealth of the unsure, but with the measured tread of a king. All 485 pounds of muscle and majesty, he is the Savannah, made manifest, a walking embodiment of power that needs no introduction. Every movement is a lesson in dominance, a body built for direct confrontation, advancing with a deliberate, measured pace. But power is not his only asset. What makes him truly formidable is his ability to maintain control over an empire. His roar can carry for 5 miles, a resonant warning to any who would dare draw near. When hunger demands action, the drama of the hunt unfolds, yet he is not the central player. The lioness is smaller and more agile, are the true architects of the attack. A lunge, a rustle in the grass, and the fatal bite to the throat ends all attempts at escape. The meal is secured, but it comes with a price. The males, despite not participating in the hunt, have priority in the sharing of the spoils. They command respect, but they also provide protection. Battles are fought not just for territory, but for lineage. A new leader, upon taking over a pride, may kill the cubs of his predecessor. A cruel but effective strategy for ensuring his own genetic legacy. The territory of a pride of lions can exceed 250 square kilometers, demarcated not only by roars but also by signs and constant patrols. Even at rest in the shade of a tree, a lion is never truly relaxed. He watches, he calculates, and he decides. Because on the savannah, the leader is not the one who roars loudest, but the one who knows when to act. But power on the savannah wears many masks. As the sun beats down, forcing the great prides into slumber, another more secretive form of dominance emerges. This is a dominion not of roars and open rule, but of shadows and silence. The leopard moves alone, and that is a choice. Weighing around 130 pounds with a slender body cloaked in a pattern of rosettes, it is born to remain unseen. The savannah does not notice it, and that is precisely how it wants it. Its footsteps are almost completely unheard. It can spend hours observing an open clearing, gauging the wind's direction, assessing every movement. The leap is precise, the impact certain, and a single bite to the neck ends everything before a sound can be made. But what truly sets this predator apart is what it does next. It drags the carcass, often larger than itself, high into the branches of a tree. There, beyond the reach of hyenas and lions, it turns the canopy into a safe larder. This behavior is not mere instinct, it is calculation. The leopard avoids conflict, anticipates risk, and protects its prize with an admirable coolness. At night, it transforms completely. Keen eyesight and a sharp sense of smell turn it into a phantom of the darkness. It hunts in absolute silence, using the night as an ally. It does not confront dangers, it moves around them. A body shaped for agility, senses that act as a constant radar, and a mind ever alert make it one of the most dangerous of predators. With no need for fame or display, it exists in quietness. An enemy cannot attack what it cannot see. In the leopard's world, every day is a problem of survival, and it is always one step ahead. Even in sleep, its ears are listening, its eyes half closed beneath the leaves, ready to vanish in an instant. For with this predator, secrecy is the most effective armor. As dusk falls, a strange sound breaks the stillness. It is not a roar, but a sharp, piercing laugh, echoing like a warning. The spotted hyena clan is coming. Weighing up to 176 pounds, the spotted hyena is one of Africa's most organized and effective predators. Their power is not in the solitary strike, but in the calculated chaos of the clan. A single intelligent mind operating through many bodies. They do not plan an attack. They are the attack, a fluid, probing tide of opportunism, constantly testing, seeking the single crack in their prey's resolve. Once the chase begins, the outcome is rarely in the prey's favor. They do not need to be faster, they need to be more persistent. Brutal but efficient, they often begin to consume their prey even while it is still struggling. The shorter the time from capture to consumption, the lower the risk of losing the meal to rivals. Competition is part of the game. They confront lions, challenge leopards, and contest space with wild dogs, not with solitary strength, but with their ability to act as a group. Their jaws have devastating power. Bones, hooves, cartilage all become food. Very little is left behind. They are master opportunists, knowing how to turn chaos to their advantage. They do not just hunt, they control the stage. Where they pass, silence gives way to a calculated chaos. No one shares a portion with the hyena, they take what they want. In the game of survival, they are not the pawns, they are the players who move the board. And when the final laugh rings out, it is the sound that signals the end of a perfect hunt.